Okay, in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about, or maybe a lot about, mirroring. Okay, mirroring is usually a subconscious kind of action. It's something subconscious that somebody does. They pick up the other person's, say, nonverbals, their traits, their nonverbal actions, gestures, and so forth. And it's usually some form of bonding. Like you're with your friend, and you may notice that your overall, and it can even be the behavior changes, and you kind of come together. Okay, and it's different than like a mimicking or imitating somebody. Like, let me give an example of somebody imitating me. When I was in my early to mid 30s, I took a trip by myself, and I stopped in a small town, a smallish town, on the other side of Fort Worth, on the west side. And it was a small town, like I said, and I went to a few places, and then I stopped at a convenience store because I was going to stay in the hotel next to it. And I stopped in a convenience store to pick up a few things, and while I was in there, this young girl, I would say maybe 10 to 12 years old, somewhere in there, I noticed out of like the corner of my eye that she was imitating me. She was peeking, like peeking around the corner, watching me, and then doing that action herself, like how I walked, or I had and I had a purse on my, hand, arm, and she was acting like she was holding one herself. Okay, now I was in no hurry, so it was, a convenience store that had various things. So I was walking around, and I could see her, and plus it was actually like after dark, and I could see her in the window, the shade from the window. But anyway, so I saw her doing this. Then when I got to the front, she had already walked back to the front, and she was trying it all on. She could she could imitate me. And it was kind of flattering, actually. She kind of stopped, when she saw me. But yeah, now children do this. Infants, from infancy onward, they do stuff like this. She was intentionally following me around and watching me and doing what I was doing. Now, some could say that's mirroring. If some could say it's mirroring because it's picking up something from somebody else to like a bonding. But now she wasn't trying to bond with me, so yeah. And then it's usually subconscious. Hers was more conscious, what she was doing. The more subconscious is that she's picking up social skills from, say, from me, another, female, but a woman. She's picking up some kind of social skills, and subconsciously she's not doing that for that purpose, maybe or maybe not. Okay, but that's what is happening. Subconsciously she's learning these, and subconsciously maybe she wants to learn these. Okay, now I think it was about a year or two later after that, I was interviewing this woman. She probably, say, 5, maybe a little give or take, years younger than I, and I noticed that her whole demeanor changed. The way she sat changed to the way I did. The way she spoke changed to the way I did. Everything about her, that I could visibly see started to change, in the way her gestures, her nonverbals, and also, but it was very odd to me, and I kept my poker face while she did it. But yeah, some people do that so they can, like it's building a rapport, building a relationship with somebody else, and showing that you're together on whatever it is. Okay, now those two situations stood out for me. None of the rest, no. And of course there has been that, because it's something that we do, that people often do, is to mirror somebody else, or to, you kind of combine together. Like you go and be around one of your old friends, or one of your family members, you may notice a change in yourself. If you pay attention, or change in them to where the both of you become, more like whatever. Actually, I'll tell a little bit. Me and one of my sisters, we lived in Dallas area. Both of us lived in the Dallas area, different parts of Dallas, but we'd meet up at a job in Dallas. And we both would notice this, that our accents changed back to the way it was when we were growing up. And our actions and our behaviors all switched to that. Now, I would say that only part of that would be mirroring. It could be many things, really. All of this could have extra, more things attached to it. But yeah, we kind of mirrored off of one another. We bounced off of one another. And eventually, we were both having the same accent as when we grew up. And we had changed as we had moved around and moved to different states and different towns, cities, everything. Our accents had changed because of what? Mirroring, in part. Wherever you live, your accent will adjust a little bit. Some. Now, this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, but yeah. And in part, that was mirroring. Okay, now there are good sides. That was all the good side. Okay, there's good sides to this, mirroring. But there's some people, some people just call them narcissistic types, not as a diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but just, a cluster B, behaviors, characteristic traits of someone with, cluster B. And now some of them will do it, and it's not just narcissists, the narcissistic type. They'll do it to draw you in, okay? For whatever reason, for their purpose, to draw you into their web. And it basically, they're building a rapport with you that they don't have any intention on, keeping with their behavior. They're just drawing you into their fold. I wouldn't call theirs subconscious. I would call it more conscious, and I'm almost missing my road here, so yeah, better pay attention. Is that part of that road right there? It gets very confusing the way they have it. So anyway, but yeah, some of the people, they will use it for their own selfish purposes, to draw you in, to keep you in, to hoover you back. They have suddenly changed, and it can be anything from your nonverbals and your verbals, okay? Your actual words, your attitudes, your demeanor, your whole person. They'll change that. But also it can happen at another time when they are that child that never did get enough mirroring, okay? They didn't have anybody that they could see as like a mentor in a way, that they would mirror, that they would want to be like that person, and as an adult, they might do it subconsciously. I just got out of my doctor's office, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't know where I left off. But yeah, mirroring is important, really, for infants especially, and then anybody at any age. Yeah. And I also wanted, another video, I want to talk about looking glass self. And I've done a video on it once before, I think. But I didn't go very deep into it. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. If you want to subscribe to this channel, and you haven't already, click the circle icon. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click one of the rectangles. Like, subscribe, comment, and share on your own social media if you would. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.